All right, everyone, welcome back. So the crew is getting the work done. Sierra, tell them what you did today. You did an axle that pays 5 hours?
In 1 hour.
In 1 hour. That's a high five. Give me a high five on camera. That's a high three. What do you want?
I want to ask you something on this. So this right here is the lateral arm, and this up here is the trailing arm. This is lateral.
Do you like my hair spiky like this?
This is lateral. This is trailing arm. You want this lateral arm, right, where the bushings are?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless I missed some other things worn out back here, but I don't think I did.
Yeah. This is called a lateral arm. This is called a trailing arm.
This I would rather not do today because of the rust factors.
I don't know when we're going to get to do it.
Everything else is doable. The caliper, the shields, the filters, the VVTs.
Does it need front brakes too? Pads and rotors?
No.
No? Just the caliper?
Yeah. Okay. So you got to see me in action with my staff. Stay with me. Don't run away. So people comment all the time that the color of oil doesn't mean anything.
Bullshit.
Exactly. The color of oil means something, just like the color of water means something. And what does it mean? I'm going to just read this to you because I already know this, but I just want to educate the people out here. The API color code for used oil is a light gray circle. The American Petroleum Institute, API, created this color code system to identify fluids and fuels and prevent cross-contamination. Used oil is typically a dark brown color. Used oil, right, key is used, is typically a dark brown color. However, the color of the used oil can indicate, let's say that again, the color of used oil can indicate a number of things, including amber, fresh, clean, and new oil. Amber, fresh, clean, and new oil is amber. And that's, actually there's clear oil out there in a full synthetic. I've used that product. It is called Smokeless. Crystal clear full synthetic. And that is called what, Caleb?
Huh?
Crystal clear full synthetic. I just said it.
I wasn't listening. I'm working.
Smokeless. It's called smokeless oil. Dark brown or black, right? So how many people are colorblind out here in the world today? A lot. How many people really know how to identify good?
Mostly men, actually.
What I'm saying, colorblind for one,
Yeah.
not familiar with the color of oil, right? They don't know. And you can get oil in royal purple, that's purple, and there's a bunch of different fresh blends of oil out there. Dark brown or black can indicate that the oil is still fine, but also can show that it's been contaminated and needs to be changed. Dark brown or black. Cream, right, has a meaning too. Oil that has been contaminated by water will turn to a cream color. So it does mean something out there. So for everyone who says the color of oil means nothing, you're completely wrong. And as amber oil, clean oil, becomes contaminated with doing its job, which is collecting contamination, collecting what moisture it can, what ferrous and non-ferrous metals it collects. So how do you think these oil analysts figure out what's in the oil? Well, they don't sample just the bottom of what you send them. They're checking that whole sample for what's in it throughout, right? At different levels, I'm sure. The heavies and solids will settle to the bottom, and then there's certain things that go up through the top. So oil can only hold so much contamination and so many different deposits, right? The molecules in the oil can only hold so much. Once the oil cannot hold so much more and it can't protect the engine and can't clean, it starts leaving deposits behind. So, and every vehicle and every engine is different. Gasoline engine we're talking about. And environment and conditions it's under is different. So you can't just throw a blanket over and say everyone can change their oil at 7,500 miles or 10,000 or 20 or never, and their engines are not going to suffer damage. Well, here we go with the plague of oil consumption and engines, at least here in the United States, as early as 30,000 miles from people doing a 10,000 oil change, a 10,000 oil change, a 10,000 oil change. Now they have oil consumption and high carbon valves because the oil can't do its job. That's it, people, cut and dry. So for me, I stick to a 3,000 mile rule, which is a very good time frame to change your oil. And if you buy a brand new car and do it this way, you will notice your oil will stay fairly clean up to 3,000 miles. And if it's a dirty engine by design, then you need to really look at it closer and more of a scientific thing and say, hey, I'm noticing that my oil went from amber to brown at 2,500, right? So what's next after brown? Black. That's 3,000 or 4,000. So you have to experiment it and say, hey, this is the conditions I'm driving my car under. I'm using cheap gasoline. I'm using cheap oil. I don't do any maintenance, and find the sweet spot. But you can't just say, go ahead and run your car 75, 85, 95, 10,000 miles, 20,000 miles on oil. That's just not what it is. And the color of oil means everything. In my race car, I don't leave my oil in there very often. What do you want now?
No labor for the VVT.
Hiring someone who can do their job without asking me questions all day long.
You're a fucking asshole. Did you not just tell me yesterday that if a labor time doesn't make sense, you wanted to be approved first by you?
Yes.
Yeah, so STFU.
Yes.
VVTs. No labor.
It's weird.
Nothing under actuators, nothing under solenoids. Typically, I know they take an hour and maybe and a half.
Yeah.
So, are you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so all data's labor times, not to get off subject, seem to be on the very light side for the vehicles that we're working on. So I told Rachel I want to know what the labor time is for everything from now on, based on vehicle condition and age, and then we're going to adjust from there. But back to what I was saying, oil consumption in new engines usually doesn't start until about 30,000 miles. Or sooner, in my opinion. But if you want to prevent oil consumption getting out of control, you have to start with a fresh engine. And some engines are designed to use a little bit of oil, but not designed to use 3 quarts in 3,000 or 4,000 miles. It's just ridiculous. But the color of oil means something. And if your buddy tells you otherwise and he doesn't know, and you can just do a quick Google search and it means something. Thanks for watching.